Imagine driving down a road that feels alive. Not smooth, not polished, but raw and unpredictable. A road made of massive concrete slabs, each one rattling your car as you pass. Each gap between them a reminder of neglect and improvisation. To some, it's just bad infrastructure. But to others, like writer and journalist Piotr Szczerek, it's a metaphor for an entire region. This is Eastern Europe. Captured in his book, Drogbruk concretely wrote, "Here, highways are history lessons, potholes are political scars, and every kilometer tells a story about survival, identity, and transformation." Szczerek doesn't simply describe roads, he tells us how they explain who we are, where we came from, and where we might be going. Piotr Szczerek is not just a writer. He is a guide through the contradictions of Central and Eastern Europe. His work mixes reportage, literature, and satire, painting a portrait of a region constantly in motion but never fully at peace with itself. In Drogbruk, the road becomes more than a path from A to B. It becomes a symbol of progress, chaos, resilience, and the search for identity. This book, and Szczerek's voice, are not about nostalgia or romanticism. They are about truth. The cracked roads of Ukraine, the half-renovated highways of Poland, the endless detours of Romania. Each detail becomes a metaphor for societies trying to move forward while dragging the weight of history behind them. And that's why Drogbruk matters. Because in its pages, we don't just see Eastern Europe. We see ourselves, our own lives, with their detours, their potholes, and their stubborn progress. Chapter 1. Who is Piotr Szczerek? To understand Drogbruk, we first need to understand the man behind it. Born in Poland in 1974, Szczerek grew up during the final years of communism. He witnessed firsthand the transition from a controlled society to one suddenly thrown into capitalism, democracy, and globalization. That chaos shaped his perspective. Szczerek studied law, but his passion was storytelling. He became a journalist, but one who never wanted to be a dry observer. Instead, he embraced irony, humor, and metaphor. His writing often mixes the absurd with the tragic, the everyday with the epic. Because that's what Eastern Europe is. Absurd and tragic, ordinary and extraordinary, all at once. In Drogbruk, he takes readers on literal road trips across the region. But these aren't tourist guides! They are spiritual expeditions, exploring what it means to live in a place caught between East and West, tradition and modernity, despair and hope. Lesson: the best chroniclers of culture are not those who analyze from afar, but those who live the contradictions themselves. Chapter 2. The road as symbol. Why roads? Because in Eastern Europe, roads are more than infrastructure. They are symbols of power, neglect, survival, and ambition. A cracked Soviet-era road tells a story of a government that prioritized control over comfort. A newly paved EU-funded highway in Poland tells a story of ambition, of integration with the West, and the in-between. The endless construction sites, the detours, the temporary fixes, tell a story of societies in transition, never fully settled. Szczerek uses these roads as metaphors for identity. To drive on them is to feel the rhythm of history. The bumps and cracks aren't just physical, they're emotional. They remind you that nothing in this region comes easy. That progress is always uneven, always improvised. And here lies the brilliance of Szczerek's metaphor. Life itself is a road. It's never smooth, but the journey, the imperfections, are what give it meaning. Chapter 3. East meets West. One of the central themes in Drogbruk is the constant negotiation between East and West. Poland, Ukraine, Romania, Slovakia, all are caught in this tug of war. Do they define themselves as fully European, or do they cling to their own unique heritage, shaped by empires, wars, and revolutions? On a road in Poland, you might see a brand new Audi overtaking a horse-drawn cart. You might see a McDonald's billboard rising over a crumbling Soviet apartment block. You might drive through a village where EU flags wave next to Orthodox churches that look unchanged for centuries. For Szczerek, these contradictions are not weaknesses. They are the essence of Eastern Europe. This is a place that cannot be simplified into. It is messy, loud, contradictory, and that's what makes it real. Lesson. True identity is not about choosing one side. It's about embracing contradictions and making them your strength. Chapter 4. The journey across the region Drogbruk is not limited to Poland. Szczerek takes us far beyond, into Ukraine, Hungary, Slovakia, and Romania. Each road, each country, has its own rhythm. In Ukraine, roads tell stories of resilience. Corruption, conflict, and chaos are ever present, but so is stubborn progress. People drive on roads that should be impassable, because giving up is not an option. Every pothole is endured, every journey completed. In Slovakia and Hungary, the roads tell stories of nationalism and identity. Signs are not just directions. They are markers of belonging. Who controls the language on the road signs controls the narrative of the land? In Romania, roads win through villages that feel frozen in time, while cities push forward with glass towers and modern malls. The tension between past and future is visible in every detour. Lesson. To understand a region, don't just read its history books. Drive its roads, feel its rhythm, and you'll learn its soul. Chapter 5. The road as metaphor for transformation. The deeper you go into Drogbruk, the clearer it becomes. Szczerek isn't just writing about roads. He's writing about transformation. Roads are about movement. And movement is about identity. A society that builds roads is trying to connect, to modernize, to progress. A society that lets roads crumble is telling you it has lost control or lost hope. In this sense, every kilometer of road is a political statement. For Eastern Europe, this transformation is constant. The road is never finished. And maybe that's the point, because to be finished would mean to stop changing. And Eastern Europe is nothing if not constantly changing. Lesson. Transformation is never clean. It's always under construction. And that's okay. Chapter 6. Mindset lessons from Drogbruk. What does this all mean for us? For viewers who may never drive down a Ukrainian highway or cross a Romanian village road, Szczerek Drogbruk offers universal lessons. 1. Embrace imperfection. Just as roads are cracked, but still carry us forward, our lives are imperfect, but still meaningful. 2. Find meaning in the mundane. Even potholes tell stories. In your life, the small details matter as much as the big victories. 3. Keep moving. Progress is not about perfection. It's about refusing to stand still. 4. Accept contradictions. Like Eastern Europe, we are all contradictions. That's not a weakness. That's humanity. 5. Transformation never ends. Just as roads are always being repaired, so are we. Growth is not a destination, but a journey. Chapter 7. Why Drogbruk matters in 2025. So why should a book like Drogbruk, written about cracked roads and concrete highways in Eastern Europe, matter to us today? Almost a decade after its release, and nearly a century after many of the histories it evokes. Because Szczerek isn't really writing about roads. He's writing about us. About modern life. About transformation that never ends. Think about the world in 2025. We live in a time of contradictions, just like the ones Szczerek describes. Technology connects us instantly, yet loneliness is on the rise. Globalization makes borders seem irrelevant, yet nationalism is roaring back louder than ever. Economies promise growth, yet inequality deepens. The same way Eastern Europe's cracked roads carry both luxury cars and horse-drawn carts. Our societies carry both progress and crisis. Side by side, lane by lane. Szczerek's vision of roads as metaphors becomes incredibly relevant here. A highway under construction reminds us of economies trying to rebuild after global shocks. A pothole on a side street mirrors the small daily struggles that no politician or algorithm can truly fix. A road sign in multiple languages speaks to the tensions of identity in a world that is at once local and global. And there's another layer. In Drogbruk, roads are about movement, about refusing to stand still. In our world today, that lesson is vital. Because with climate change, pandemics, wars, and cultural clashes, it often feels like the road ahead is blocked, too dangerous, too chaotic. But Szczerek reminds us, even when the road is cracked, you can still drive. Even when the path feels uncertain, you can still move forward. For individuals, this metaphor is personal. Your life is your road. Maybe it's not smooth. Maybe it's full of detours you never planned for. Maybe it feels like everyone else is on a brand new highway while you restuck on an old country lane. But Drogbruk tells us, that's okay. That's real. What matters is that you keep driving. That you find meaning in the imperfections. That you see every pothole not just as an obstacle, but as a reminder that progress never comes easy. In a sense, Drogbruk is the story of all of us in 2025. Because we, too, live on a cracked road. Socially, politically, personally. We crave speed and comfort, but reality rattles us with every bump. And yet, just like Szczerek's Eastern Europe, we move forward. Imperfectly, unevenly, but undeniably forward. Lesson! A perfect road doesn't teach you anything. A cracked road teaches you resilience. And in 2025, resilience is the most important skill of all. If Piotr Szczerek Drogbruk shows us anything, it's that the road is never just the road. It's a story, a metaphor, a mirror. And so is your life. So here's the question. What road are you on? Is it cracked? Is it messy? Good! That means you're alive, you're moving, you're transforming. If this journey inspired you, then you're already part of the Mentality series. Subscribe, like, and comment below. What is the biggest pothole in your life? And how are you overcoming it? Because at the end of the day, greatness isn't about arriving at a perfect destination. It's about having the courage to drive, even when the road rattles beneath your wheels.